Spice and Wolf is an interesting series, to say the least. Despite being a romantic comedy, a genre that inspires audible groans, and no, that's not hyperbole, this series actually manages to avoid many of the annoying cliches found in this genre. The tale of Lawrence and Holo, our protagonists, is one that took me by surprise and showed me that this genre still has life. Firstly, the art and animation in this series is fairly adequate. Particularly the backgrounds are done very well, and definitely do well in breathing life into the world. You can also tell that this is a very Eastern European styled world because of the art. The characters themselves are drawn nicely as well. The animation's nothing special, but it really doesn't need to be to begin with, as the majority of the show consists of talking. There are a few action sequences here and there, however, and they're animated consistently with the art. One thing in particular I want to draw notice to is Holo, the main heroine's design. In particular to her eyes. They're very expressive and show her mischievous nature, a very important part of what makes her character work. You can tell they took great care in how they came up with her design, as it mirrors her personality perfectly. Overall, I have to say that this show is very pleasant to look at, but it's not amazing by any means, but still fairly above average. The music in this anime is also fairly good. I especially enjoyed the opening and ending themes of the first season, although I didn't really care for the new ones in the second season. Otherwise, the music that plays during the actual show is done well, and applies itself accordingly to what's on screen. A lot of the music had a kind of folk town kind of feel to it, which I think perfectly fits the show. Now, I have not watched the Japanese dub, but I can safely say that the English one is a great one, especially because of Brina Palencia, who did the voice of Holo. She brings a sense of mischief yet regalness to her character that is simply perfect. Michael Tatum as Lawrence is also done very well. Since Lawrence is kind of the straight man to Holo, he does a very good job of having a slight annoyance to his voice when putting up with Holo's antics. Besides our protagonist, though, the rest of the cast perform their roles well. Spice and Wolf is about Kraft Lawrence, a traveling merchant whose goal is to make enough money to open up his own shop, and Holo, a 600-year-old wolf spirit who wants to go back to her home in Yoitz. After the two first meet, Lawrence agrees to take her back to her home, and the majority of the show is them traveling. What makes the show really work is the chemistry between these two. Unlike other shows like Inuyasha, where the interactions feel needlessly drawn out or just plain unnatural, Lawrence and Holo honestly feel like they're real people and just sound like they truly enjoy each other's company. Holo, like I've mentioned before, is a fairly mischievous character, and she loves to toy with Lawrence, and Lawrence becomes easily flustered with her due to his inexperience with women. This does change, however. Throughout the 2 seasons of the show, the relationship these two share has a very gradual development that feels very real. Lawrence becomes more quick-witted and starts to retort Holo's jokes. However, the show isn't simply about watching the two of them be together. In fact, I have to say that in the second season, some of the best episodes was when the two of them got separated, and it created a lot of tension. But other than that, there are conflicts that the two of them have to endure throughout the course of their journey. Given that Holo is a fox spirit, and seeing that she has these fox-like ears and her tail, this often causes problems in more than one occasion, and even Lawrence himself makes mistakes that gets him into trouble. The show does a good job of keeping your interest for the most part. However, I felt that it gets a little too convoluted. A main point of the show is Lawrence being a merchant. A lot of the talk of the show because of this deals with mercantilism, and it can get confusing at times. Still, this is a small complaint in what is largely a very enjoyable story. Honestly, it's just a joy to see these two characters interact with each other. And that's why I mentioned before some of the best episodes are when they're separated, because you desperately want to see them get back together. It's just executed very well. In the end, Spice and Wolf is a show that I highly recommend. It's got decent art, really good music, and a simple, wonderful duo of protagonists. Spice and Wolf is a joy to watch. Granted, this is not a show for those who like a lot of action. There's really rarely any action scenes, and if that's your thing, then this is not for you. But if that doesn't bother you, if you liked what you've seen, Spice and Wolf is a must-watch. Well, this has been Shintai chilling in the anime room. Take it easy, everyone.